Tell us when we live. We live? I think we live. What's popping, everybody? It's your girl Natasha Bass with EXP Realty. Natasha Bass Realty, your favorite realtor in the world,
Hey.
especially in the state of California.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's Nina B. I am your entrepreneur for Be Bougie, and also which is a women clothing line, and also Rising Elevation, where we are doing business coach for Airbnb and business consultant and all things around there. So hello,
Hey, sis, what's popping,
morning,
man?
Matt.
How you doing?
I'm doing well on
That's
this
good.
wonderful Saturday morning.
We up and at it, ready to go, ready
Always,
to
always.
empower somebody, ready to encourage somebody, ready to see somebody gain another win in this G thing. That's what I love.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
Okay, so I had we so what we wanted to talk about today, to all of those who are watching. Thank you first of all for even tuning in. For those of you who are
Absolutely.
here, I don't even know where to look. I can you see me? For tuning in. I wanted to read this quote because this is where we gonna like derive this conversation. I saw this morning and I was like, that's good because it's deep. And so here's the quote. It says, "You may not control all of the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." And so that was deep to me, right? Because one of the things that I hear people say is like, I'm just going through a lot. And I get it. And then when you stop and you realize, like, shit, we all going through a lot. Like at any event, you could talk to somebody and it's something they battling. You know, whether they sharing it or not.
Mhm.
And it's
Absolutely.
amazing to see how many people go through different situations, yet how they respond to them is totally different. Like some people, you'll never know that they got just a heavy weight on their shoulder because they carry it so well. And
Right.
that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I just wanted to be transparent in some of the things that we been through, but dang, the beauty and the ability of growing through it and what you blossom into when you keep going through, because you can crumble right in your situation or you can elevate through the hesitation with hesitation. I don't know.
No, absolutely. And I think that it's important for us to share our story always, right? Because, like you said, you never know who's watching or who life you can change, right? Sometimes, like for me, I'm always a strong person, right? I'm always that strong friend. So you may see me and may not think that, hey, Nina, she's always, you know, so motivational and so this, but behind scenes, like sometimes I have my own issues, right? And so sometimes I look forward to like who can I turn to, right? Because I'm always a strong friend for everybody. But sometimes your circle needs to check on your strong friend, right? Because we take so much from everybody else, right? But sometimes, as a strong friend, you got to be careful as well that you don't take on everybody's burden because that stuff would drown you. It would literally drain you taking on all that. So I think it's important that we share our story. You never know how your story can impact somebody else's life. Whether, like I said, whether it's somebody that's in a domestic relationship, a violent relationship, maybe it's somebody who just down and out, just needs some encouragement, for that day to get their day going right. Maybe it's a mother that's having issue with her children, right? So any of those type of things can help somebody else overcome their situation. So that's why I think it's always important that we share our story as women and we support one another. I don't care what level you're at, success wise, we're all human, we're all women, and we all go through things. And so it's important that we start getting back to that, that women empowerment. We see a lot of that on social media about that, right? And I know a lot of time there's some pushback when sometimes people have these women empowerment convention, right? And people see it as a way, oh, they just want to get money. No, you have to change that mindset and think about, I'm going there to network with other women. I'm going there to get that message, right? Because you don't never know who is going to be in the room, who you're going to connect with, and how that person can, number three, change and impact your life, right? I've seen people who went to these networks and conferences who have become friends with these people, right? And so go to those conferences. Go sit in a room and amongst those women and get that inspiration and that knowledge that you may need to push forward. Because being a woman is hard. Being a Black woman is hard. Not just, you know what I mean? So
Throw some cheese on that. No.
we go through a lot, and sometimes I think that for like Black women, and we have this persona or like this stigma that, oh, we're hard, we're mean, and we're, you know, we're debate for argumentative. It's not that. Sometimes it comes from how we were raised, right?
Right.
In our environment, as you know, we come from these backgrounds that may not have been good, right? We may have been our mothers and may have been a single mom and had to work, you know, and so we were home with our siblings as their second mom. So sometimes women at a young age take on a lot of adult responsibilities that make them have this hard shell, right? And so we come across as, you know, this badass, you know, woman, but it ain't that. We do have our soft spots within us, and that, you know, I just think that we just need to just open up to that and just let people in and just connect with people, other women, so that we can help change lives. Because, so as women, we are strong.
Right.
We are everything. We are bold. We're courageous. You know what I mean?
Right.
We have so much power that we don't even know that we have, right? So I just think it's important that we all just stick together and continue to support one another through this life journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
It's a
talked.
mouthful. Yeah.
No, but it was real. It was on point. And you know, we carry so much weight. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We are the most undervalued race, I
Right.
believe, on, and I see it. You know what I mean? In even more so as dark skinned women.
Right.
You know, like but we I feel like at the end of the day, like when it comes to empowering one another, like I did this thing, right? I'm gonna show you an example. I did this thing and we were walking. I was telling my friend, I said, you know what? When I say hi to people, I get different responses as far
Mhm.
as the overall ratio, right?
Right.
And so like I did this thing and I was like, I'm gonna say hi to everybody I
Right.
walk past, and I'm see the responses I get. Well, I didn't get the same amount of responses. I got far less good responses from Black women than I did any other race.
Right.
Weird, right? And so
Mhm.
I'm like, what is that?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
That no, and it was drastic.
so it was different women. So you did like a study. So different
Yeah,
women. I don't know if women are sometimes um is it weird? Like, because sometimes people are not used to get compliments, right? So they don't know how to accept that, right?
yeah.
Um, or I don't know, because I sometimes
Have you tried that? Like, have you ever seen that or ever experienced that?
I mean, I had times where I spoke to women like, you know, hi, and it's kind of like either they speak or they don't, or sometimes I got like a little smirk, you know, like in passing, right? Because I still think that's okay to, it still acknowledge you in some sense, right? If I walk by you and I smirk. But I'm one of those women who are very confident. So I don't, if I see you, I'm like, and hey, oh, that's cute, girl. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid to give that compliment to other women, or I'm not afraid to have a friendly hi and walking by with strangers, right? That
Mhm.
doesn't diminish me or dim my light, right? By me just saying hi to other women. So I don't know if there's some insecurities in certain
Definitely.
women when they don't speak, or you think you're too good to speak. Like, I think it's rude for one, right?
Yeah.
Because if I speak to you in return, you should speak, or you know, and back to me or whatever. But I think that we got to be okay with starting to acknowledge our Black women, right? Each other. Hey, sister, good. You know what I mean? Because maybe that hi can change her whole day, right? So we don't know that.
And I
Our
wouldn't even encourage stopping it. Like I still do it. You know,
no, I
I
can
think
do it too. Because
it's
one
like
person
an
is not going to stop
thing. Yeah.
the me from being who I am,
Yeah.
right? Either
Absolutely.
you're going to receive it or you're not, but that doesn't change that we're going to continue to start speaking to or, you know, to women. I even catch myself having conversations from a high. Sometimes this high turn into something completely different, right? To where I feel like now I'm in like this coaching, like motivational conversation with another woman, and I tend to do that a lot, even at work with some of my direct reports, right? Talking
Yeah.
to them And sometimes I end up like sharing some of my story just
Yeah.
naturally, right? It's not even a planned conversation, just that I'm engaging off a simple hi, and that leads to other things. So I just think that it's important that we continue to do that, regardless if people stop speaking. Continue to be you, sis, because
Oh,
you already know you happy go lucky. So
hey,
be like, what's happening?
you can hate it. I love it. I'm gonna continue to be me, but I did that, and it made me want to challenge more women to do that. That's my
Absolutely.
reason for really bringing that up. And I wanted to know, like, have you experienced? Do you see that? Because for me, it's pretty drastic. And so I was like, man, like, so I tell my friends, like, look, I challenge you, and you don't be that person either. Like, if somebody speak to you, say hi. Like, it starts there. And like you said, you will meet some people. All it takes is one person to change your life. Like, real talk.
Let me just say this, because I've been told this a lot, and this can be true about me, right? I've
I
been told that I have this look to where I'm
arrested.
unapproachable. Did I
Yes,
look mean? I don't know. Maybe I had like this resting bitch face on me. I don't know, right? Because I don't know what I look like.
you do. You do.
I do. So,
Yeah.
so what I'm saying is that it's
To
naturally for
me,
me.
it don't feel like that because I know you. And so that's
Right.
another thing, and another piece and a component is that you got to get to know people. Sometimes you got to break that barrier. Sometimes
People judge me a lot. I get a lot of judgment from
for
people
me,
on how I look.
yeah, even for me to take it as like, oh, she being rude,
I'm
sis,
here while my light
might
out.
not even been. Oh, okay. Do I still keep talking? I was gonna say, sis might not even been in her right mind at the time. Hell, she might just lost her mom, her dad, and her mindset is not even there to speak right now.
Right.
And sometimes that's what, when we talk about, women empowerment and understanding that everybody going through something, that circles right back around to where we first initiated
Absolutely.
in this conversation. And so, like, it allows you to have more compassion and just take consideration, like, dang, we all going through something, and we strong, but we also have times of weakness. I get people that be like, Tosh, you so strong, and I be like, but my ninja, I got weak points too. Like,
Yeah, dude.
sometimes I want to cry, sometimes I want to freaking pout and be emotional, because God gave me these dang on emotions, and sometimes they be having, but you do have to bring that back, right? So that goes back to that quote, that even in times we go through things, and you have those moments, don't stay there though. That's the key. We all have moments where we're struggling after having kids. Like, that's a drastic change in a woman's life. Ooh,
I
I
mean,
was,
yeah, I think as women, we constantly to go back to that. I think as women, even for me, um, we're different from men. When we start hitting these certain age points in our life, so when you get to your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s, right? So when I turned 40s, I ain't gonna tell you, like it's like something in me just clicked, right? So I really started being more in tune with myself as a woman, like what I want, my likes, right? Everything started to change because I'm not this 30-year-old Nina that I was, this 20-year-old Nina, right? A lot of things in me have changed, right? I don't have any small kids. My kids are now adults. I'm now trying to transition and figure out, okay, what do I want, right? And this had nothing to do with my husband. This is all about me. This has nothing to do with my spouse. This is all about me as a woman, because as women, we are constantly evolving. That's just who we are by nature, right? So I just think it's important that we tap into ourselves, right? Self love. Because sometimes aging can be scary. It really can. Aging can be scary, and
girl, these hips.
I know I don't look like nothing I've been through. You can't even tell that I'm this 43-year-old woman with 2 adult kids.
43.
43.
Girl,
And
the 40s club. I'm on my way. I'll be there next
absolutely.
week, Wednesday, November 16th.
What?
I will
That's
be
right.
in the 40s club.
Black don't crack, right? So black don't crack. So you would never know without me telling you my age, right? And I've been through a whole lot. But like I said, I think it's important that we continue to share our story. I have a lot to offer.
Sis,
Huh?
let's run it back. Give us a story, like a story where you feel like was uh, a changing point in your life, like where it was like when you look back and you be like, damn, like when you was going through, damn well you was going through, you was like, I quit, but you got through it and you was like, dang, I needed that.
Let's see. I would have to say maybe maybe like in my 2000 and what was that, 2015 maybe it was. So during this time, I'm thinking I'm at the height of my career, right?
Okay.
I'm working for Highland Hospital, which you guys know is in Oakland, California, #1 trauma center. Now Alameda Health System. I was there. I already had my bachelor's degree while I worked there. Got that in 2012. So during this time, 2015, I'm excited. I'm making decent money. We're preparing to buy a house. Well, I get laid off.
Oh.
Devastated, right? I'm like, oh my God. And the way I got laid off was like, basically what happened was someone else exercised the union right and they bumped me from my position. So they bumped me out of my position, took my job. The hospital gave me 2 weeks notice. No severance pay, no nothing. So here I am like, what the hell am I going to do? Because when you start your career, you build your lifestyle off the money you make, right? So here I am living this comfortable lifestyle based off this income that I was making. Here I am about to be ready to buy a home. And now I can't even buy a house because now I have no income. And I have to go from making $33 an hour to now unemployment at $9.80 a week. My bills don't change. I still need, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
So I ended up getting laid off. During that time, I was actually in the process of attending Cal State East Bay, getting my master's degree. So even though I was going through that with my job, I still went ahead and enrolled, and started my, I got laid off August of 2015, started school September the next month. So I'm going through that, trying to find a job. Because mind you, I've always worked since I was like 14. So I didn't know what being unemployed mean because I'm not used to that. I'm used to having income. So I'm battling with myself. I'm trying to find a job. I ended up going back to Fairmount Hospital, which is also part of Highland Hospital. I'm temping there. I'm getting denied for interviews, just things that I shouldn't be happening, right? Making it very hard for me.
Encouraging.
So during that time, I was still like, you know what? Maybe God don't want me here. Maybe this is not where I need to be. Because sometimes we will constantly force something when it's not supposed to be forced. It's like, and we can't get the signal because it's something that we want. No, not knowing that it's not part of the plan. So I said, maybe I'll just go look somewhere else. Well, I did. That's how I got hired on at Kaiser Permanente in 2016. So August 2016, I got hired on at Kaiser Permanente. And I think from that, like my life just started to change. I got finished school, got my master's degree 2017. I've been promoted 3 times within Kaiser. I'm now a manager, and I've been with Kaiser for 6 years, right? The way I have navigated through the system in a 6-year period to become a manager is kind of unheard of in Kaiser because it's really just a lot of BS when in corporations. You have people who are been there 20 plus years who are just now in my position. Like that's crazy, right? And here I'm coming here just only 6 years, and now I'm at their level, right? So great things has happened for me. Although it started off rocky for me, now I work for a great company, But again, I like the income that I make, but I also want my financial freedom. So that's why also 2 years ago when we joined Recession Proof, because that's where I met you at, my beautiful sister, right?
Now you locked in.
Right. So that you guys joining Recession Proof in November of 2020 was life changing for me. And I will tell you guys that we sometimes get signs that we ignore. Now, let me go back to this Recession Proof. My husband was seeing Marcus Barney on YouTube, right? He kept saying that, like,
shout out to Marcus Barney.
Lovely. So he's talking about this guy, Marcus Barney, right? And he's like, this is guy, he's from Stockton, California. And he's talking about you can get 12 credit cards with 1 inquiry, 4 inquiries. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, how the hell are you doing that? He was like, but he not really saying because he got a course or whatever, right? I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know who this person is, and I don't got no $5,000 for no course of somebody that I don't even know, nobody who's like receipts, right?
Hey, $5,000 be hidden when you ain't got
exactly. I didn't have no $5,000 to give to a random person, right? So fast forward 2 months later, guys, I have my boutique called Be Bougie. My friend of mine, a photographer, came to our home to do my photo shoot, and her husband. Well, my husband and her husband start having a conversation. Well, that came up. Recession proof. Marcus Barney. They actually had joined the course, and so this was the time that night. This is when Marcus was doing his last live course. It was his last live course. It was November 2020. So we sit at the edge of the bed. I'm literally on my knees, right? Me and my husband is going back and forth about, do we do it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, well, we pay this $5,000. It's gonna be on you because this shit don't work out, right? So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Took out my Discover credit card. Remember, I gotta have good credit. Took out my Discover credit card. I put that 5,000 on the my credit card, and I would tell you guys, it has been up and lit from there because it's not even about the money. It's about
the relationship,
the
network.
Okay, Jay, pause it. Let's pause it for a second. He said somebody computer email. Is it
noise going off? It's mine.
It's Tasha's. Because I don't have any.
I was like, God dang. So hey, I got talked about last time. They was like, who got Microsoft?
But I do too. So let me see if it's mine too.
No, it's mine. It's definitely mine.
Okay.
I just talked about that yesterday. I'm back. It's done.
Okay. Hopefully you'll hear mine. Okay. I guess we're running back. Okay.
Okay.
What was I saying? Okay. Okay. So anyway, $5,000 credit card.
How great the game changer, the networking. You got more than $5,000 worth. I'm
exactly.
Sure
so you guys, that money saying, like you can't be afraid to invest. So I invested this $5,000, and do you guys know the connections that I have made from just that $5,000? It has nothing to do about the money. It's about the relationships that I have built. You know, we have a whole group of the network who we have an amazing group of just entrepreneurs, the network, beautiful people who is like family to me, right? So had I not invested that $5,000, I would have never met Jay, Natasha, Charles, Mark, all these wonderful people that have come into my life as family, right? So that to me, this from that 2015 to 2022 now, there has been some amazing things that has happened. I have been able to start businesses. You guys know I've never thought before this. I did a few entrepreneur opportunities, whatever I should say. Mm-hmm. But to this magnitude where I am today, I have like 4 LLCs. I never even, my mindset changed when I joined Recession Proof. I never thought about the entrepreneur. All I knew was go to school, go to college, get a degree, take care of my family. And that's all I've done, right? I thought that going to get my bachelor's degree was going to set me up. But I realized that coming through entrepreneurship, I'm like, I want financial freedom. I want to build generational wealth. I need to build my kids. I don't want to be going to somebody's job every day. But sometimes we got to do that until we get to where we need to be, right? So I said, yes, I still work my full-time job because my full-time job does pay my bills. And my full-time job does help me invest in my companies as well.
Well, you gotta move smart with it, right? Everybody's moving at the same pace. So
that has been my story, and I think that my story is going to continue. Am I at the end of the book yet? I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Let's think about entrepreneurship. We don't always see the people don't always share the downfalls that we go through entrepreneurship. There are some days I make no money. There are some days that I do make money, right? I'm not. I would never portray that entrepreneurship is easy. It's not easy, and it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody as easy as it can produce all these wonderful things, right? All this wealth, you know, and you can control your freedom, and you can build generational wealth, invest in real estate, and all things. But it's not for everybody. Everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur, and it's not for the faint of the heart. So. It's a challenge. I mean, I quit every day. Mentally, I quit every day. And but at the end of the day, it's like my why is so much stronger, you know? And so I have people depending on me, right? And I want to be able to leave my children something, their children something, because I didn't have that. So everything I have, I had to work for. So when you say get it from the mud, I really got it from the mud. Nothing has been given to me. I've worked hard, me and my husband, to get everything that we have. And so I want to be able to give my kids a boost, I should say, you know, in their life of being successful, you know. So you guys just keep going, you know, and If you want to get entrepreneurship, try at it. You don't know how things work out until you try. At least I always say, like, at least try. Don't just say, oh, okay, because I feel like I'm a risk taker, right? And you don't never know what you can do until you try. You may succeed at it. And part of entrepreneurship is failure. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to always tweak your business
forward.
Just keep on going, right? You may fall, but you're gonna get your behind right back up and keep on going, right? But what I want to say, to really keep it short and simple, share that experience with people. Let people know, because people just see all the glitz and glam on social media. People sell this lifestyle marketing, and I want to see, baby, from the bottom up. Show me how you got it. You know what I mean? I don't want to see your mansions and your cars and all that. Really, really try to really inspire people and really tell them the real, because you already know, like, know, and trust. Be authentic, right? And if you can incorporate those three things in your messaging, people will get it. And they'll love and like you. You don't have to showcase your cars and your money. They would genuinely connect with you and genuinely support you, just based off you and being authentic, right? So again, always share your story. Like I said, you don't know how you can impact somebody else during this time.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I remember I had a situation recently. Talk about sharing stories. I'm gonna share a story where I was super embarrassed, just like, what in the world? How did I miss that? So I had a client, right? And I'm super juiced for this client. She had a situation where she came up on some money legally, and she was like, Tasha, I'm ready to buy a house. And, and I told her, I said, well, here, this is what I want you to do. I gave her a few lenders. I said, shop around between these three. These are some good ones. You pick them. And the reason why I do that, and I've done that, is because I've had experience in the past, and I've heard from other lenders that said that they don't like when agents do that, because they want you to have one dedicated lender. But I was operating like that, and I found that people work differently with different people, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, when somebody comes to me as a realtor, if they don't feel like I fit, I want you to go get somebody that fits you. That's okay. Because at the end of the day, I genuinely want to see you win, whether it's with me or not.
Right.
I mean, and so I had this client, she was referral to me, and walked her through, gave her some individuals to check with, and she picked one, and so we went, and this individual could not do so they have like a 10% equity grant loan going out right now, or recently. And so you get your money back, you get all your money back after 10 years. It's refundable, fully refundable. If you stay in a property for not 10 years, for 5 years.
Okay.
Stay in the property for 5 years, they will cover 10% of whatever your purchase price is for the property you purchase. Okay.
Right.
So we was like, shoot, if we can get that, we might as well go with that. You know what I mean? And you can save your money and put that in the house. So I'm always looking for ways to help my client and work on their best interest, right? That's just the natural norm in me, right? But we players mess up.
That's life, right?
Some transparent stuff. And I'm not laughing like it's funny, but it's real, y'all. It's gonna happen, and you have to make light of the situation, go be better because of it. But so this situation happened, and we had to go with a different lender because the one that she chose couldn't do that type of loan. So we was like, okay, let's shoot over here. In the midst of doing this, our offer got accepted. So it was like, dope, let's go. And when my clients get accepted, it's like, let's go. Let's get all our stuff in a row so that wherever we fail, we have enough time to figure it out. Because the thing is crunch time, when you in escrow. And so we got the inspectors out. Like we handle our business, making sure we see what's going on with the property. And whenever my clients are looking at properties, I always check the terms to see if they accept certain clients, because some might be FHA, things like that. And so we were, it said FHA approved. My client was first time homeowner. So we go in there and we get our offer accepted. We get the inspections. We get everything moving. Come to find out, she can't get approved for the equity grant loan. Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. If she would have got, if she would have partnered with somebody, she would have made too much because you can only make so much with this grant.
Right.
And she would have did it on her own. It was certain things that with her debt to income ratio would have threw her off to qualify with the credit. Okay, so we move in, and then bam, we run into a brick wall. Tasha, we have to go back. No, we have to go back to the original lender because we said if this didn't work out, we was gonna push forward with the other one, right? Mm-hmm. So we go back, and she like, Tosh, is this FHA approved? I'm like, yeah, it's right there in the terms. I did my homework. What you need? She like, well, it's a condo, so it has to be approved even further, right? It has to be approved with the homeowners association. So I'm like, yeah, but shoot, the seller is not going to list that as FHA approved if the homeowners association ain't approving it, right? Like I wouldn't, you know what I mean? So I called the seller. I'm like, hey, you got this listing. It say FHA approved. Did you check the terms on this? She like, yeah, I did. I've sold one over here in that area. FHA, yeah. Why is everything okay? I was like, oh, I was told that it might not be FHA approved. She's like, oh yeah, well, let me know. I said, yeah, you do your homework too, just in case, right? Mm-hmm. So we go back. My lender, she come through, come to find out it's not FHA approved. So we got to let the buyer know, but they have this thing that's called a spot, right, for FHA. So if there is a condo that doesn't approve FHA, the buyer can pay for them to spot it. But even when you pay for that money is not refundable, right? Mm-hmm. And they can possibly deny it.
So it's a risk you're taking, basically, the buyer.
Right? So the lender, she explains this to my client, and we thinking like, well, if the seller's saying that she sold one over there, it should be no problem. Right. But we still operating in the best interest. We let you know you might not get your money. You're not going to get your money back. They can deny it. But if the seller did, do you want to take that risk? She said, yeah. Okay. So we move forward, girl, and they declined it. Now, mind you, we've been looking for properties. It was hard. She was getting discouraged. I kept encouraging, and we found a spot that she loved. She was so excited. I was excited. That's why I was moving on it. And that happened. And I felt so defeated. I was like, damn, like, what can I do? We got to get back here in the streets and go grind again, like for another property. Cause it's hard. Interest rates and everything changing and stuff like that. So she was so discouraged. And I felt bad because I just felt like, dang, like
that was out of your control, right? Sometimes these things happen and it sucks for the seller because sometimes as a home buyer, we have our eyes set on something. We fall in love with these homes, and when it don't fall through, baby,
it's discouraging.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. And so like for me, my biggest thing was what could I have done differently? Right. And it takes me back to that quote again, like some of the things we can't control, what we bump into or what we run into. And some of it is for our good. And so like I had to look like how, because she fired us. The client came back and said,
she fired y'all. Yeah. Even though it wasn't you guys' fault.
Yeah.
Did you explain to her what happened in detail of the whole process?
I'll tell you, yes. And her thing was, this wasn't in writing. So we didn't have all of that information that we disclosed, just like you and I having a conversation. We didn't put everything in writing. But we also, she also felt like, it wasted her time, and she put a lot of money out into these inspections, right? And I pride myself on getting inspections done fast. But in this case, like I felt bad, like, you know what I mean? And so I was like, you know what, not even like felt bad, but I just felt like I want you to win still. And I don't want you to get discouraged. So I gave her the money back. Now, look, let me tell y'all, just because y'all watching and I did that, I don't do that all the time. But in certain situations, I may, and in this case, she was on the grind. And I was like, you know what, baby girl, wherever you go, I want to see you win. Take this and go, and if you have questions, however I can help you, I'm still here. That's just because I love what I do. And so talking real estate is not a big deal, but it,
so let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Now that you look back, right? Like you said, some things that we do in life, like you said, like deals, some things are out of our control. Looking back now, did you find anything in that situation that now moving forward that you can prevent
Heck yeah.
in the future.
Absolutely. So that's where so what I would do differently now is I would look myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't, like, that was a lesson learned. Like, so even when I get an assistant, when she come on board, hey, when we check the terms, if it's homeowners association, if our client is first time homeowners and it's a condo, I need you to also go take this next step, look on this website for the condominiums and type it in there and see if it's approved. If it's not approved, we're not even finna deal with it, because I'm not even finna have my clients risking that kind of money. It was like almost $500. So I get the frustration, you know. You got another $500 for just the home inspection, and all of these things are non-refundable. Let me say
all that, yeah.
So then you got the homeowners inspection, you got the pest inspection. Pest inspection is about $175, $150. Then you got the roof inspections. And you need to know this stuff when you're going into a property, because I would rather pay $175 for a roof inspection and know that there's leaks in the roof that's going to cost me $20,000 just to replace the roof or whatever the case may be. I'd rather spend that up front and know. So it's not a bad thing to get these things in place, but
no, those are much needed things. And before you buy a home, those are things that you should already include in your budget, because those are things that you just cannot have done. Those inspections are important, even on a brand new home. Absolutely. You should always have an inspection, because builders don't always do things correctly.
Absolutely. But you know, and you know, the moral of that story is, in all, keep going. Always. Like, keep going. And like the greatest things, like when I look back over that, I don't feel bad. You know what I'm saying? I know I did what was in the best interest of my client with what I now. I know I asked the right questions. I probably didn't go and look at that, because usually lenders would check that. So me and my lender, that's how we rock. I would have knew that way before I even did the inspections, but we was over here mingling with trying to get her, still working at the best interest of her and my clients, trying to get her that 10%, you know. But so sometimes we beat ourselves up too, and have that moment, because you know, we human, like, dang, but get back up again. You know what I'm saying? I'm hitting the ground running. We still closing deals, but I just wanted to say, like, even for her, I hope that she's still moving.
Absolutely. With you or without you. Absolutely. I think you did what you're supposed to do, and that was good, because sometimes that's just being genuine who you are, right? Because like you said, you gave her the money back. You didn't have to. But again, as being a human, that was ethically the right thing to do, right? Because you didn't know, right? And you've been working hard. So I appreciate that authenticity from you of giving your client. And that just speaks to who you are as a woman, Tasha. I already know that is. You know what I mean? That's why you're constantly closing these deals, and God is constantly guiding you, you know, with these clients and these, you know, I be seeing you moving and shaking on, you know.
Just put something out there, because since you saying we closing deals, we just accepted an offer on one of our deals today in Sacramento, and that was my goal, was to accept that offer before I got out of here to Mr. Mexico for my birthday. So I'm excited about it.
I am not surprised. I see you winning. You know, I'll give you your flowers. You're doing your thing. That's right. You know, when I know people, I refer them to you. You know what I mean? So just constantly continue being. And I think also why you win, because you are you. You are true to yourself. You're authentic. What you guys see right now is the Tasha that's always her. She's always like this. What's popping is her. You know what I mean? So I think for you, people naturally gravitate towards you, because you have that welcoming personality. And any client should be lucky to have you, you know, rooting for them when it comes to that real estate side of things, right? Because you do go hard for your clients. And I've seen all your successes that you post and all your happy clients. And home ownership is everything. It can be life-changing for people. You know, I have 2 homes, but my first house I was 27 years old. So yeah, home ownership is not for everybody, but it's
for how did home ownership change your life? Because this boy saved I could have been homeless if I wasn't a homeowner.
Let me tell you, I bought my first house when I was 27. So I bought when I was 27 years old in Stockton, California.
Hey,
I was a first-time home buyer. I ain't know nothing about Stockton. Even though I'm from Oakland, California, we from the Bay Area. So coming that way towards Stockton, Tracy was like fishing, going fishing, right, for us. So first time home buyer, I'm excited, y'all. I don't know nothing about no Stockton, about the commute, about the neighborhood. I bought over there by Boss Track.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the dilemma. We bought like in May of 2007. Well, you guys know what come next, right? The whole entire housing market crashed. So here I am in this brand new home, $325,000 that we paid for this house. Now we're in the world of crisis of a market that just crashed. Y'all, that was the most devastating thing to me. Let me tell you what happened to me.
I was gonna say, what happened?
I had the house. And granted, at this time, I worked in Oakland at Waste Management. My husband, we both worked. So we spent more time commuting than we were actually at the house. So that was a negative. I never really got a chance to really enjoy the home because we commuted so much going to work, right? So when the market crashed, we decided to rent it out. We moved back to Dublin and then rented the house out. Well, during that time, all these different things that happened with the housing market, with the banks. My loan was through BFA. Everyone trying to figure out what's the next move. How do we move?
Interest back then?
My interest, so let me speak about that. My interest back then was, what was it, 5%? So you guys think that
that's in 2007?
2017, yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, what's that? 07, right?
Before the
07, yeah, 07. Okay. So you guys know if you bought a house, 5% was the actual average rate of buying a home. Good. Right? Yeah. So you pay 5% for the house, rent the house out. By this time, the whole world, the whole housing people trying to figure out how do we save these homes, all these foreclosures. So, BFA is one of those horrible banks. So by this time, Obama's in office. You have these modifications going on, right? Let me tell y'all, it was so stressful because we were going back and forth with these banks about the modification. Do I keep the house? Do I let it go, right? By this time, I'm so upside down. By the time that house was done, it was worth less than 6 figures. It was like $90K.
Damn.
At the last minute, huh?
How much you paid for it?
$325,000. So you guys know how that's just heartbreaking to have a house that it's not even worth what you paid for, and it's like $90K now. Brand new home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So yeah. At the last minute, I get a modification through BFA. They're trying to send a notary to my house to sign this modification, right? I'm telling y'all about this amount of paper, right? I'm going to the paperwork. I'm reading the terms. So basically what they were doing was they was tacking on that amount that, you lost to the end of the loan, right? Mm-hmm. So your payment was going to go down, but you was going to still owe that $325,000, but they was going to tack it onto the back of the loan. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking like, I'm 27 years old. By the time I can buy 4 or 5 more houses, I'm like, so maybe it's not a good thing for me to keep this house. And I filed bankruptcy. I did not want to, because I didn't tell you guys before, when I was in my 20s, when I was 25, I filed bankruptcy when I was 25. No, I'm sorry. I filed bankruptcy when I was like, 20 something, whatever. Credit card debt girl, didn't know about it, just whatever. I felt okay, but I worked really, really hard up until buying that house to rebuild my credit, right? Right. Never had any late payments or anything in the 6 years from when I initially filed bankruptcy. So filing bankruptcy again, I wanted to cry. I was literally devastated. I'm like, here I am again. That took these last 6 years to rebuild my credit, and now I got to file bankruptcy, which now is going to prevent me from buying another house in 4 years, right? But I also knew that it wasn't even about the house no more. It was about, I felt like the banks was getting over. And I was like, I'm still young. I still have an opportunity to buy a house in a few more years. Mm-hmm. So I filed bankruptcy on a house. Filed bankruptcy on a house. I end up letting it go.
Do you regret letting it go?
No, I do not regret letting it go, because guess what? I was able to buy 2 more houses after that. I do not regret breaking up. It did prevent me from buying a house for, you had to wait 4 years until it's discharged to buy a house. And I'm gonna go back to y'all when I talk about faith and when I speak to you about just speaking into existence what you want. So during this time after I found bankruptcy, I seen this house that's in Manteca, and I fell in love with the house, right? Fell in love with the house. and I wanted it. Like it was kind of like my dream home, right? I wanted this house. Well, off the time, my husband was also the trustee of his grandmother house. In 2014, she passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was gambling with, do I be selfish and buy my primary house, or do we buy my husband house that he grew up in? Because buying my primary house was going to prevent us from buying this investment property, right?
Okay.
So I ended up going with the house that my husband grew up in. So we bought that house first, right? After my banker was discharged, I got hired on a Kaiser. We ended up buying the house in 2016 in Oakland. That was our first house, right? Bought that house, had a tenant for a year. By this time, the house had so much equity when we brought it. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna go back and buy that dream house that I want, that I seen 4 years ago. So 2017,
Got him.
we end up. So it wasn't a house I wanted, because you guys got to realize that was 4 years ago. We went ahead, signed a contract. A year later, we pulled money out of our house in Oakland, and that's how I was able to buy the house that I'm currently in right now. Well, again, like you were saying, you have your builders lenders, you have your other lenders. Most people like going with the builders because they have so many incentives, right? They try to buy you in. Oh, we give you 20K for this. And you guys know sometimes that stuff is double price when you want to get your flooring done, your cabinets done. And sometimes that gets people, and they go ahead and they take, the builder's incentives.
And they lock you in.
They lock
Then
you
they
in.
make you wait longer than what they said
Exactly.
it was gonna be ready.
I already had a lender, because my first lender, who I love, is a black guy. I love him. He did our first home.
What's his name?
The builder's lender came back with an outrageous amount. They wanted us to put in like 90K. And we're like, what? Like, we're not putting down no 90K on this house. Like, y'all crazy. Like, the rate was higher. The terms was just like, you know what? So I'm like, let me go hit my other lender up and see what they're talking about. Girl, the deal was so much better. So I didn't even get the incentives for the house. I didn't care about that. I wanted to make sure that my coming in money made sense to me, right? Mm-hmm. So long story short, I did not go with the builders people. I went with my own lender. And that's how I was able to get this house. It wasn't the house that I wanted, but it was in the same development. It was in another model house that we got. So what I'm going to tell you guys, like, sometimes things don't happen in that moment. But look, 4 years later, I was still able to go back and get that same different house, but in the same model of the development that I was originally looking in. I've seen both homes. One was just bigger. This was a smaller home. But that was just me not giving up. Me just having faith that, yes, the bankruptcy did detour me for a little bit. And I was devastated because I worked so hard to build my credit. But having to do so allowed me to buy 2 more homes. So that's been my outcome. And I use these homes to your advantage.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's bossed up. That's what I'm talking about. Bossed up, ladies. No, it's funny.
Yeah, that's happened to me. Yeah, the bankruptcy kind of threw me off my track for a little bit. It was devastating.
You gotta take them L's and keep going, man. Like, look, let me tell you one thing that I can almost guarantee is that from taking that L, going through that situation, when you came back around to have to talk about it and have these discussions, your conversations probably hit different. Your requests probably sound different. Yo demeanor and approaching and talking about what you knew from your experience made it that much more, you know what I mean, comfortable going through, because I know what I know.
Right.
I know I don't want that. No, I'm not settling for that. That's way too much. Or you know what I mean? And so it's just that, like, whatever you go through,
I always come out on top. You know what I mean? I always say the storm won't last forever, right? We got to believe that. We got to believe that this too shall pass, right? And I know that we all go through things in life and things happen, but don't allow yourself. I could have just been like, oh my God, my credit. Like, oh my God. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, it hurt it. I ain't gonna tell y'all, it hurt it. I almost cried because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Going from being a homeowner to going back to renting, I was like, how did I get here? I was a homeowner. Now I gotta rent somebody else's property and follow their rules, and I can't do what I want to do. But let me tell y'all that is, I stayed in that rental property for over 10 years, right? During that 10 years, I was still a homeowner though. I still have my rental property in Oakland, which was then paying my rent where I was living at. So during this time in this 10 years, you guys know I didn't buy no new furniture. I didn't decorate the house because I knew that that was temporary for me. I knew that this was not my final destination. I knew that I was going to get a brand new home and I wasn't buying nothing for this house. What we had, what we had. Man, when I bought my brand new home, and I brought everything brand new. Everything brand new. Everybody got brand new everything. Only thing we took was our brand new TVs. We bought brand new furniture because I knew
everything big.
I knew that this was, I'm like, this is a temporary setback. I knew that this home was just for us to live, right? To be, to have a roof over our head, but it wasn't my home, right? And so when I was able to buy my house, I went all out. And so just guys, don't live in those moments. Just it's temporarily, a setback, but it's preparing you for something much greater. And I've always been very goal driven about my whole life. When I say my whole life, I mean from the school I'm going to go to, what kind of cars I'm going to buy. I've always been that way. But I always say, a goal without a deadline is just a dream. You have to put deadlines on your goals, and I don't care if you don't, because sometimes you don't always achieve them 100%, but you just go and you tweak them, right? You don't give up. So that keeps you grinding and pushing forward when you have that deadline, because it's like a race, right?
Said that because like I said, my goal, and and sometimes you could just create those goals, but just keep speaking them in this existence and watch it manifest, because like I just would randomly say, like, but I knew what I wanted. I really wanted to get this house in escrow before I leave to Tulum, right? Like I kept saying, I want to get this house in escrow before. And today it happened, and here I'm about to leave on Tuesday. So, and it's Saturday. You know what I mean? And I didn't see it happening yesterday. So like that stuff really,
that's faith. That's faith. When you do that faith.
Hey, I got this shirt that say manifest that shit. Y'all better manifest that shit.
And I wanted to simply pick up that too, though. Before I bought the house, I had Post-it notes on my mirror that said, I'm gonna buy a new house. I'm gonna get this house, because when you wake up, that was my purpose. Those sticky notes on my mirror was my why. It was my why.
You sit on your forefront.
Yeah, when you see it every day, it makes it more purposeful, right? When you see it, right? You just wake up. Yeah, we're blessed to wake up, but when you see those notes, like it's like, okay, I gotta go hard today, right? I gotta execute because I need that car. I need that house. My kids need this. You know what I mean? So
serve that.
Those notes, you know what I mean? Yeah. On your mirror, on your wall, have your prayer closet, whatever it is that you need to get you through, to keep pushing, you do that.
You do it. Like Nike said, y'all, just do it, man.
And we're not telling y'all anything.
We thank y'all so much for tapping in with us. It is, can't even press it, 10:33.
I was like, what? I'm like, you finna kick your shoe up or something? I know what you're doing.
No, I'm just saying, we've been on this G thing for about an hour now. And
we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us.
53 minutes.
Yeah. So like my sister said, thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate you guys. We will continue to come to this platform to share our knowledge, and to talk about whatever we want to talk about, right? This is going to
know what they want to talk about. Like,
yeah,
I would ask that you tell us what it is you want to talk about. And the way you can tell us is you can DM me at Miss Lady. No, it's not. That's right. That's like
we having all these pages. We already know the name of them. Go ahead, let them know.
Check me out, Miss Realtor Tosh, on Instagram, Facebook, Natasha Bass Realty, and also on LinkedIn. You can just type in Natasha Bass. Hey, I'm even on Twitter. I don't even really be on there, but you can still find me. I'm gonna go on there just for you so I can share you something. Share you some good stuff. That ain't no OnlyFans page. Why I said that's the OnlyFans page, the Miss Lady.
Well, guess what? Y'all can find me. So I got a few pages. So listen, y'all can find me on Instagram. My boutique is Be Bougie. That's BEEBOUGIE 2020. My personal page is Miss MRS MRSNINAB_. Y'all follow me on TikTok. I mean, I got like 22K fans on TikTok. Go to my page because I'm going to start talking about more about Airbnb. My TikTok is MRS_Nina NINB. Go to my TikTok. I am dropping an Airbnb course. Black Friday is going to be early registration. So if you sign up Black Friday, you will get a discount off the course that is coming in January.
Go!
So listen, y'all better get into this Airbnb. So check us out. Make sure y'all follow us on all platforms. All right, y'all.
Wait, let me just do one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Mine, because I didn't have it spelled. It's MS. It's gonna be at the bottom of the screen though, right? So MS Realtor, REALTOR, Tash, TASH, no A.
Peace. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Good. Have a great Saturday.
Peace out. Till next time. Peace out. Deuces, deuces, deuces.